Hey guys, it's Miss Shelly, and on today's exciting lesson, we're doing circles with Baby Yoda. Because who doesn't love that cute little Baby Yoda? I mean, look at him. He's so tiny. I just want to snuggle with him. But today we're going to talk about circles. I love this lesson. I like circles. It's easy. It's an easy formula to remember, and it's just easy to solve. So I hope you enjoy today's super easy circles lesson with Baby Yoda. So first, let's talk about the parts of a circle. We're going to start with around the circle. That is what we call the circumference. The circumference is the distance around the circle. That's the outer circle. You'll see it in green on the screen. Next, we have the diameter. The diameter is the black line. It's the distance across the circle through the center. Okay, so it's across the circle all the way across. Next, we have the radius. The radius is the distance from anywhere outside the circle to the center of the circle. So right here, I have this blue radius line right here, and I can have a radius anywhere within the circle. So let me see, I'm gonna make some more radiuses. So let's put one here, one here. You might realize that the radius kind of looks like pizza slices, right? Or pie slices. So the radius is any point from the center of the circle to the outside of the circle. The diameter, that's the line that goes all the way across. Now, if I have the radius right here, one radius equal, or two radiuses equal one diameter. All right, so two radius equals one diameter. So now that we kind of remember the parts of a circle, let's talk about the formula. The formula for finding the circumference of a circle is super easy. It is C for circumference equals pi times d for diameter. We talked a little bit about pi before we left that last day for spring break, but pi is the ratio of the circumference to the diameter. So pi stands for circumference over diameter. Don't forget, pi is that super incredible number that we talked about. And why is it super incredible? Why is it so exciting? Well, it's so exciting because it's this number, this only number in the universe that is like pi. It's just it. It is a decimal that never repeats or terminates. So that means that this decimal number goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. It never ends. It never repeats. There are websites you can go to and look up the different numbers in pi. I urge you to do that. Go explore. You can find your birthday within the numbers of pi. You can find your phone number, your house number. All of those numbers can be found somewhere within the decimals of pi. How awesome is that? When we are using pi for our formulas, instead of using pi, sometimes calculators have a pi button. That's all great. But for our purposes, when we use pi, we're going to use just the first three numbers. So 3.14. So anytime we see pi for our formula, we're going to insert or substitute 3.14. So now that we know what our formula looks like, let's substitute some numbers and solve. So right here I have BB8, or fun fact, I actually nicknamed BB8 circles. So that's just what I call him. I love circles. He's my favorite. So the diameter of circles is 26 inches. Now, if you remember, the diameter goes from side to side and it goes through the middle. So this means that this line right here, this dark black line, is 26 inches. So we want to find the circumference. We want to find out what is the distance all the way around circles. So in order to do that, we're going to plug our diameter, substitute our diameter of 26 inches into our formula. So that's going to look like C equals pi times 26. Now remember, on that last slide, I told you that anytime you have pi, you're going to change that number to 3.14. So now we have circumference equals 3.14 times 26. Now, guys, we're at home. I don't want to make things more difficult for you than they need to be. So if you have a calculator, please feel free to use your calculator. If we were in class, we wouldn't use calculators, but times are a little different right now. So go ahead, and if you have one, it is fine to use. So circumference equals 3.14 times 26, which is 81.64. Don't forget our unit of measurement, inches. And that's it, guys. That's how you find circumference. Now you know why I said I like this lesson so much, because it's easy, it's simple, it's fun. So let's solve some more problems. So I got baby Yoda. He's playing some b-ball, and the diameter of his b-ball is 7 inches. So now I need to solve for what the circumference would be. So let's plug in my diameter. C equals pi times 7. And now I need to plug in my 3.14 for pi times 7. And when I multiply those two numbers together, I get 21.98 inches. Final answer. Not too bad, right? Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit harder, but not even that much harder. Right here, I have this basketball hoop. All right, now it gives me the radius. Remember, only half of the line is what we call the radius. So I need to figure out what the diameter is. If we go all the way back, scroll one more. I told us here that 2 radii equals 1 diameter. So let's scroll back. All right. So if I have 1 radius, I need another one. I need to figure out what is this going to be. That's simple. This blue line is going to be also 9 inches. So in order to figure out what my diameter is, because that's what I need, my diameter, I'm going to add my 2 radiuses together. And what's 9 plus 9? 18. So my diameter, the diameter goes all the way across, don't forget, is 18 inches. So now all I need to do is plug that in. So circumference equals pi times 18. Now substitute my 3.14 for pi. 3.14 times 18, that gives me a circumference of 56.52 inches. And that's it. That's not even that much harder, is it? No, all you're doing is taking that radius and just doubling it, timesing it by 2, adding it to itself, whichever you prefer. All right, so let's take a look now at a street hockey ball. You know, Miss Shelley loves ball hockey. So I have this orange ball hockey ball. This is the same ball that we use on the street hockey team. And it tells me that the radius is 1.25. Now remember, the radius is half of the diameter. So in order for me to figure out what the whole diameter is, you need to draw another line of 1.25 and add them together. So 1.25 plus 1.25, or multiply it by 2, that gives you a diameter of 2.5. So now we can take 2.5 diameter and plug that back in to the formula. So circumference equals pi times my diameter, which is 2.5. Now I can substitute my pi for 3.14 times 2.5. And that gives me a circumference of 7.85 inches. And there you have it. Now, this was medium. Let's take it up one more notch, and I promise it's not even that much harder. So now I have this Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel has a circumference of 220 feet. So I already know what the circumference is. Now, though, I want to figure out what is the diameter. So I'm going to plug the information that I know in. I know my circumference is 220 feet. And I know that I have pi still. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute 3.14 for pi. And I think I'm going to have something that looks kind of familiar. Doesn't this kind of look like a one-step equation? Yes. So in order to solve for this, I need to get that diameter by itself. How do I get the diameter by itself? Well, if I'm multiplying 3.14 by the diameter, I need to do the opposite, which is divide. So I'm going to divide 3.14. Remember, if I divide on one side, I have to divide on the other side. 3.14 divided by 3.14 gives me 1. So that leaves my diameter equaling 70.06. See, even that wasn't that hard. Let's just do a couple more problems so we can see. So now I have a donut, and it tells me that the circumference of this donut is 27 centimeters. I need to figure out what the diameter is. So how can I do that? Well, I'm going to plug my 27 in for my circumference. So 27 equals pi times the diameter. Now I'm going to substitute 3.14 in for my diameter. And now I'm left with 3.14 times diameter. So in order to get the diameter by itself, remember, I need to do the opposite. If I'm multiplying, I need to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3.14. 3.14 divided by 3.14 gives me 1 diameter, or just diameter. 27 divided by 3.14 equals 8.6 centimeters. All right, so one last problem. I have a picture right here of this planet. It's actually a planet from Star Wars. Bonus if you know the planet. So the circumference of this planet is 113.04 meters. I need to figure out what the diameter is. So remember, again, I'm going to take my 113.04, plug it in for my circumference, and that'll give me 113.04 equals pi times diameter. So now I'm going to substitute in my 3.14 for my pi times my diameter. Just like before, I need to get the diameter by itself. So if I'm multiplying 3.14 by the diameter, I need to divide 3.14. So I'm going to divide 3.14 on both sides. 3.14 divided by 3.14 is 1. So that leaves me with my diameter equals 113.04 divided by 3.14 gives me 36 meters. And that is it, guys. So now what I want you to do is hop on back over to Teams, and I want you to complete today's assignment. It's a drag and drop, so all your answers are down at the bottom. Some problems are going to give you the radius, some problems are going to give you the diameter, and some problems are going to give you the circumference. So you'll just take the answers that are down at the bottom and drag them to the appropriate box.